Positive thinking has become a very popular religion. Like all religions, it's used to control the masses. I'm not making this video to praise the power of positive thinking, but to celebrate the audacity of hopelessness. From the title of this video, you may have hoped it would have something to do with Obama, since of course he has a book entitled The Audacity of Hope. I'm not exactly Obama's biggest supporter, but this isn't an Obama bashing video either. But I'll use him to make a point. One of his slogans was, "Change we can believe in." And this is basically what hope is. Hope is believing that things can and will change for the better. Hope is a form of control. If people realize how corrupt their government is, and how hopeless their lives are under that government, they may rise up and overthrow it. But if they have hope, if they believe that change is coming, then there's no need for revolution. True audacity only arises out of hopelessness, and the religion of positive thinking is the ultimate weapon against hopelessness. As a system of control, it's probably better than any religion that's come before it. The religion of positive thinking tells you not to be so negative. Don't be so negative about the government. Believe that your vote makes a difference. Don't be so negative about the growing gulf between the rich and poor. Believe that you too can be rich. Don't be negative about your dead-end job. Believe that if you work hard, you can get promoted. Don't be negative about the growing power of Wall Street banks and corporations, the global economic crisis, wage stagnation, income inequality, the war on the working class, globalization, the expansion of the welfare state, the immigration crisis, or increasing government debt. Just believe in the free market. Go shopping and pay your taxes. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's under control. Let me show you a very clear example of how hope is used by those who want to control you. Think of an armed robber. You might think that the threat of violence is what makes people do as he orders, but it isn't. What makes people comply with his demands is their hope that he won't use violence. If they didn't have that hope, they would resist. As long as you have the hope that if you do what you're told, you'll be allowed to live, you won't dare to resist and risk getting killed. But if you have no hope that they'll let you live, and that they're about to kill you no matter what you do, you'll fight for your life. But I'm not only talking about control by church and state, or international bankers and the ruling elite. I'm trying to draw your attention to a principle and show that hope is slavery, and hopelessness is freedom, in a much deeper and broader sense. I want to reveal the paradox of hope. Ironically, hope isn't positive thinking at all if you think about it. It's negative thinking. If you see everything through rose-colored glasses, as we're encouraged to by the religion of positive thinking, then what is there to hope for? Everything is perfect already. Hope is rooted in dissatisfaction or suffering. Is rooted in a negative view of the world. If you hope for things to be different than they are, then you aren't content with the way things are. Something is wrong. You're aware of something negative that exists in the present. Hope is attached to the possibility that things can be different in the future. Hope is always in the future. And the hope for the future is one with the dissatisfaction or suffering in the present. So to hope is to be a slave to suffering, and to be at war with the present. And it's a perpetual war that will never be won. To be hopeless is to be free from suffering and to be at peace with the present. And of course, in the religion of positive thinking, this is taken to mean that you should just accept what is. And that's very useful for controlling people. But properly understood, this is the method to free yourself from control. True hopelessness is absolute freedom from control and freedom from illusions. Hopelessness isn't helplessness, it's power. More than anything, you hope to find happiness. You hope that if you have enough money, you'll be happy. You hope that if you spend enough money, you'll be happy. You hope that if you find love, you'll be happy. And until you have enough money, enough things, until you find that perfect person, you're unhappy. You're kept in a state of constant striving. In this state of striving, you work for an employer who profits from the surplus value created by your labor. The wages he pays you are less than the value your labor produces for him. He makes a profit. You spend your wages on goods and services. Again, there's a difference between the price you pay for those goods and services and the cost of producing and providing those goods and services. They make a profit off of you. The whole economy works in this way. You are its energy source. It drains you, and it leaves you empty. You hope to fill the emptiness, but all the striving your hope produces in you only drains you more and leaves you even more empty than before. It's a bottomless pit. It's an eternal fire that consumes you. It's hell. Its flames are the flames of lust, the flames of hope. Extinguish hope. The words, "Abandon all hope, all ye who enter here," aren't written on the gates of hell, but on the gates of heaven. Heaven is a hopeless place. In heaven, what is there to hope for? Hope can only exist in hell. And it's the hope for heaven that creates hell. People hope to go to heaven. People hope that heaven is real. People hope that there is a God. People hope that their lives have a purpose. People hope that God and heaven exist because there is doubt. As long as they cling to the hope, the doubt will be just underneath. Let the doubts arise. Embrace doubt, and the hope will dissolve. Then you will finally be free from doubt, free from fear. But fear is what keeps people from doing this. Like children afraid of the dark, people light a candle, but the candle, the light of hope, casts terrifying shadows of doubt on the wall. Projections of inner demons. Extinguish the candle's flame, and the shadows it casts will vanish into the darkness. There's no need to be afraid of the dark. Likewise, church and state tyranny are brought into being by the fear of anarchy and heresy. But aren't these shadows more terrifying than the darkness we had hoped to dispel? The orthodox dogmas of the Church, which justify the burning of heretics at the stake, are to be feared more than any of the so-called heresies. The state, with its monopoly on violent force and its power to steal from its citizens through taxation, to imprison them, execute them, and sacrifice their sons in unjust wars, is the greatest threat to the individual liberties and rights we hoped it would serve to protect. Is it not time to blow out the candles? Are we old enough yet to be unafraid of the dark? When you lose hope in the government, will you continue to be subject to it? Will you consent to be governed? When you lose hope in the media, will propaganda have any effect on you? When you lose hope in the pursuit of materialistic possessions, how much power will money have over you? Will you be a slave to the banks? Hopelessness is liberation. And when systems of power rely on hope to control you, the audacity of hopelessness is seen as a threat. When hopelessness begins to creep up on you, it can be scary. It feels like an infinite darkness that threatens to swallow you. But when you allow the darkness to swallow you completely, you become one with the infinite, and you yourself become light and swallow the darkness. Look deeply to the source of all hopes and fears. The ultimate fear is death. If you conquer the fear of death, you conquer all fears. But as with the example of the armed robber, it isn't just the fear of death, but the hope of survival that really controls you. And the hope of survival is the ultimate hope. And along with this hope comes doubt. And these doubts are the reason man creates religion. Man creates religion to cope with these doubts and to offer a false sense of hope. Create a god, and the devil appears. Crucify the god, and the devil vanishes. Abandon faith, and be free from all doubt. You're gonna die. Death is certain. There is no hope. There is no escape. Fully accept the hopelessness of your situation. All is vanity. All of your striving is absolutely futile. No matter how much money and stuff you accumulate, it can never fill the emptiness. If you gained all the treasure in the world, you would be no better than a man dying of thirst on a raft in the middle of the ocean. All the ocean's water can't quench your thirst. Neither can all the world's riches quench the thirst for gold. And everything that can be gained can also be lost. Everything the God of this world gives, he takes away. Anything not stolen from you by misfortune will eventually be stolen by death. Whatever you build will crumble, even if long after your death. Everything and everyone you love will pass away. You'll get old, you'll get sick, you'll suffer, and you'll die. Do you think it's only the selfish life that's meaningless? Do you imagine that meaning can be found in something greater than yourself? Feed the starving children, then. They'll still die someday. Shelter the homeless who you find sleeping under bridges. They'll sleep in graves in the end. Cure cancer. Everyone will still die. Save all of humanity. Humanity will eventually go extinct. The earth itself and all life will be destroyed. What meaning will anything have then? Do you think you'll live on in the memories of others? You'll be forgotten, and so will they. You think that if you find your true love, then you'll be happy. And this is fleeting too. Your love will fade. They'll leave you. They'll betray you. You'll find that they're not who you thought they were. You fell in love with an illusion. Or maybe you'll just drift apart. Maybe they'll change. Maybe you'll change. Or they die, and you're left alone with your grief. Or you die. You're afraid to die alone. But we all die alone. There is no heaven. But if there were, you would soon find yourself dissatisfied there, and wondering if heaven is all there is. you would find yourself hoping for something more. Don't give in to hope. Accept the hopelessness of your situation. Some will think that I'm being very dark. Yes, I am. I'm trying to get you to stare deeply into the darkness and overcome your fear of it, so you can be free from the hopes your fear creates. As long as you hope, you'll be tormented with doubt. Illumination is only found in the very heart of darkness. But to enter into the heart of darkness, you'll have to abandon any hope of finding illumination. You have to allow the darkness to swallow you completely. No hope can remain within you. You have to die. Accept death. Accept poverty. Accept loneliness. Accept meaninglessness. Accept hopelessness. Do you have the audacity?